Well, the minister decided to do something a little different one Sunday morning. And so he said, today in church, I'm going to say a single word, and you're going to help me preach. So whatever single word I say, I want you to sing whatever hymn that comes to your mind. So the pastor shouted out, "Cross!" And immediately the congregation started singing in unison, "The Old Rugged Cross." Remember that? If you're Baptist, you remember that. The pastor hollered out, "Grace!" And the congregation began to sing, "Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound." And then the pastor said, "Power!" And the congregation sang, "There's power in the blood." And then the pastor said, "Sex!" And the congregation fell in total silence, like you are now, permit. Everyone was in shock. And so they all nervously began to look around at each other, afraid to say anything. And then all of a sudden, way from in the back of the church, a 98-year-old grandmother stood up and began to sing "Precious Memories." Precious memories. Oh. So we are obviously still in the chapter of the book that's talking about how shall I live knowing I will die. And so instead of it being something that's kind of solemn, we've been looking at how we can use this truth to support us in living more fully and joyfully and freely right here, right now. And so we talked about it last week, and we talked about what permission, we might need to give ourselves to live fully and freely right now, to prioritize making life's sweetness something that we look for in each moment. And Wayne Muller talked about two practices that support us in living life with more awareness. And he talked about acceptance, and he talked about effortlessness. And one of the quotes he said is, "Acceptance of death is acceptance of freedom. Freedom to live each day with clarity and courage. Knowing that there's a certain end to our life can set us free," he feels. It kind of puts in perspective, what we think we need to get done, right? Moment to moment. And there's an exercise that we worked with in our book study that he recommends. And it's a book study that says, okay, go focus on the idea of this statement, "I can die today. I could die today." And again, we have put a little disclaimer in there because Unity, we don't want to go around affirming, "I'm going to die today." But I could. So just bringing that into the forefront of our awareness and how that would possibly shift how we're being in the world, what we're doing, what we prioritize. And to allow life to be more effortless, versus our pushing and striving. When we bring that awareness, the possibility is that when we can bring that awareness that we could die today into our day-to-day thoughts, that what if we could just stop striving, as a result of prioritizing what's important? And to trust in that effortlessness, that underneath everything, there is an inherent wisdom that is always available to us, and we're going to know exactly what to do and when to do it. So how'd you do with that this week? Yeah, I have, when I go back to the back door, I love your comments. And one person last week told me that they were going to go home and start a project that they had been putting off Did anybody do that this past week? It's okay, just however. I'm not going to test you. So we're continuing in this focus of how then shall I live knowing I will die? And so Wayne Muller gives us 3 practices that I wanted to focus on this week. Remembering, simplicity, and gratefulness. And here's just a beautiful quote from the book. Wayne Muller quote, "The heart of spiritual practice is simply this. Remember. Remember who you are. Remember what you love. Remember what is sacred. Remember what is true. Remember that you will die and that this day is a gift. Remember how you wish to live." I just love that. And I remember, Jesus at the Passover meal, the Last Supper that he had with his disciples. And as they were all there together for this final meal, and as they were breaking the bread and drinking the wine, Jesus said, "When you do this again, remember me." And I love that because what he was saying to them, my interpretation is, remember what we've shared together. Remember what we've learned together. Remember who you truly are. I am you and you are me. Let's remember this together. And it brought to mind the sacredness of rituals for us to remember what's important in our life. So, for you, what helps you remember? What helps you remember who/what you truly, truly are? What supports you in remembering, the beauty and sacredness of life? And I know for many of you, you have a meditation, a prayer practice, spending time in nature, just remembering an anniversary, celebrating a birthday. Wayne Muller talks about how the simple, mundane task we do each day, when done mindfully, can remind us. And Brother Lawrence, I love this quote from Brother Lawrence. Brother Lawrence said, "It is not necessary to have great things to do. I turn my little omelet in the pan for the love of God." Yes, it doesn't have to be, some elaborate, thing that we do, a ritual that we do. Just remember, how sacred life is. What's really important. And I was reminded of Henry David Thoreau. He, many of us have read Walden, that he went to Walden Pond to live in simplicity. And he said this, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life." Yeah. So he came out of that experience of living at Walden Pond, very passionate about living simply, remembering what was really important, that it would lead to a meaningful and fulfilled life. But I think about our human condition, how we're overwhelmed with the fast pace and complexity of life, and how often we respond to this by pushing and striving and going faster and faster and faster to try and get everything done. We multitask, thinking that's the best way to get stuff done. Eating while driving. I'm a bad one about that. And sometimes driving with my knee. And, have you ever been on the phone with someone? Okay, fess up. You've been on the phone talking to someone, and then you go check your Facebook to see if somebody commented on your post, or check a text while you're on the phone with someone. Okay, fess. And the other day, I was driving down Copper Road. Copper Road is an adventure for me, a 2-lane road. And I swear, I was looking at this car in front of me that had no one sitting in the driver's seat. There was no head. And I'm like, where is that person's head? And we were going, at least 35, down Copper. And I look, and the person is down here, doing something, putzing down here. And I'm just like, really? So so when we're so, here we are, we're so into just multitasking, doing, what do we miss? Well, first of all, that person is missing just staying in their lane and the red lights. But, it was really sweet this past week. There was this remember the gorgeous sunset? Well, there's lots in this time of year, but there was really red. And Edie was driving home, and she texted Zaina, and she goes, "Go look at the sky," because she didn't want us to miss it. See, that's the thing, when we get so busy, we miss the sunsets. We miss the baby, starting to crawl maybe, or the opportunity to be kind to someone. And just lend a hand. This week, my refrigerator looks like a cooler right now. I have no food in it. And so I was hungry for lunch, and so I stopped at the Cava over here on Shady Grove Road, which is really, really good. And so it was starting to rain, and I didn't want to get wet, Lord. And so I'm kind of, I had to park kind of far away because it was during, lunchtime. And there was this SUV that stopped, and this elderly gentleman got out who was having trouble walking. And his wife was just going to go park the car, and it was quite a ways to the front door. And I was just boogieing with my food, and then I just happened to catch in the periphery this person needing a hand. I almost missed it. And so I just had this really sweet connection. I'm like, here, let's walk, And it was just a sweet connection with this gentleman. I don't know his name. But I thought, I almost missed that because I was so busy, kind of head down, trying to go to my car. So I just think about, the joys of what it would be like for us to simplify our life so that we don't have so much going on at the same time. The more we simplify our life, the less stuff we have going on in here, and the less that we miss. And so there's another quote in the book that I love. Our life is not a problem to be solved. It is a gift to be opened. I'm going to say that again because I love it so much. Our life is not a problem to be solved. It is a gift to be opened. So to me, that just takes the whole perspective of being grateful for life's simple pleasures, the people that we remember that have loved us and supported us. It's a gift. The present, we've heard that. The present, it's a gift. But I tell you, folks, if we just continually focus on what's missing, or we just continue to stay so busy, or, focus on what's broken or wrong, we just lose the ability to see the multitude of gifts we have in our life. And this is the season of gratitude. And what if we could just really stop? I know this is Thanksgiving month, and we go gratitude, yay. But what if we could really, gratitude. What if we could really stop? What if we could really make it a focus? How shall I live knowing I will die? What if we could just really make gratitude. Gratitude for every moment, for life's simple pleasures, the things that we just might take for granted because, the way the cat curls up in our lap, or, the way the mums look, in the fall, or whatever it is that we just might pass by, the sunsets, to really allow ourselves to drink it in. Because, not to focus and be morbid about it, we've got a finite time in this physical body, this time around. So, I just want to share with you, I am heading to Charlotte today because my mother has been diagnosed that she will probably pass this week. And so this is really alive in me right now. Thank you for your love. I feel it. And so let's remember, because our dear ones aren't in our lives forever. And it's also in the remembering what's true. And I'm not trying to put a spiritual spin on this because my heart's breaking. And at the same time, my mother's eternal. I'm probably going to meet up with her again. Yeah, life's eternal. Let's remember. Let's remember, folks. And when we remember, let's tell the people that we remember, that have been kind to us and seen us. Let's let them know our gratitude. And maybe can we slow down a little? And make life a little more simple for ourselves? Yeah. Okay, let's take a deep breath together. Yeah, so this week, I just invite you just to take this on in a heightened way. Yes, the reality is we could die today. What is mine to do? How is mine to live? What choices am I going to make today that are going to reflect the truth I know, the joy I am, and the many blessings that are in my life? So let's affirm together. I remember what I love. With gratitude in my heart, I remember that life is